Born and raised in a small urban town near Cincinnati, Ohio, lives a boy with a big imagination and heart.
I don't know much about when I was younger. Well, all I know is that I am very energetic when I was young.
His creativity grew over time, along with his talents, from his first words and steps to his first stroke of a pencil and click of a mouse.
A few other things I should mention is that I also artistic in writing. I wrote down a few ideas, wrote down a few stories. Perhaps you need to see it for yourself.
This boy created a universe by soaking in everything from the world around him.
It's something that I feel like I need to focus on what is for me in the future. I mean, I've seen plenty of things outside of the school, not just on TV, but just wanted to see what I could do outside, what I've learned, or what can I learn.
However, the real world does not know much about this boy until today. His name is Aaron F. Davis, and this is his life story on a road from autism.
Oh! Greetings, ladies and gentle viewers. I can see you caught me during one of my shirt dilemmas. It's nothing special or personal. I'm just trying to figure out which of these shirts I'm going to wear for my first episode. Why do you ask? Well, there is a big world out there, and there are a lot of people who have autism. And I feel like I want to go out into the real world and find a good, suitable image to show who is a very good person to listen to, especially from an autistic person himself. Yeah, that's right. I am autistic as well. And since we're getting the hang of this, I thought maybe I could at least share my first episode about me. Welcome to episode 1. Aaron F. Davis, the sponge who could dream.
In the early morning of October 15th, 1992, a little miracle for William and Cheryl Davis was born. A baby boy.
When he was born, the very day that he was born, he was chalky white, I'm sorry. And what was most interesting about him was his gaze around the actual birthing room, just staring away. No crying, when the baby's born, it cries. Aaron didn't cry.
I don't know much about when I was younger. Well, all I know is that I am very energetic when I was young.
We couldn't decide on a first name. We kind of first thought we liked the name Zachary, but we weren't really sure. So I decided to pull out the Bible and look at names, and the name Aaron jumped out at me.
I don't remember much about when I was a kid, so I think that might be best for my mom and dad to know.
And I just thought it was a beautiful name. I loved the way it looked. I loved the way it sounded with his middle name Franklin. And also the history of Aaron in the Bible is that he was Moses' brother and he spoke for Moses. So I brought it up to Bill and I said, well, what do you think about the name Aaron to go with Franklin? And we both liked it, loved it, and that's
very strong.
Very strong name.
The years rolled by quick, but not until the near age of 6 years old did Aaron find himself different from most kids his age.
Aaron learned how to remember the programs that he would watch, the movies, shows. He liked Thomas the Tank Engine, and he would learn the story forwards and backwards, and he could recite it to you. I read a lot of Dr. Seuss books to him, and he could tell you the story. If you missed a word, he would tell you what the word was. So he knew he was learning his ABCs and his 1-2-3s very early, at a very early age, and I was really surprised at how much he was picking up, even though he was only barely 2.
Soon, his parents took him to a specialist where he was eventually diagnosed with autism. More specifically, a higher functioning form, better known as Asperger's syndrome.
What was your reaction? What was your initial reaction to his diagnosis of autism?
Wow, probably a little bit of everything: shock, belief, relief, worry, because just really didn't know what to expect. By then, it was good to have an answer because I had spent so many years trying to figure out on my own what the issues were that he was having, and wasn't really getting a whole lot of support because he was almost 6 by the time we got a true diagnosis, and by then we were pretty sure that's what it was from all the research that I had put into it, and his dad and I talked about it and stuff. So once we knew, then we had a plan.
Yeah, actually, and that was all Cheryl. She was doing all the investigation and things like that. Mine was denial. I denied anything that could be wrong with my son.
Asperger's to me is not something to ignore. Asperger's to me is not exactly something to be afraid about. I mean, when it comes to being autistic and non-autistic, I don't see that myself. I see myself as a regular person. I see myself as any other person would be. Like, I was a regular student, I was a son, I was a brother, and I still am me.
It wasn't long before Cheryl and Bill sent their son, along with his younger sister Fallon, off to school. While the two of them surpassed most of their classmates academically, Aaron was a little socially confused about the people around him.
At first, when I came across there, it was really hard for me to get accustomed to. When I went into social gatherings, like either it was Sunday school or just a regular day at school, I practically had been sheltered into my own mind.
I decided I'd go visit my son one day, and my expectation was that I would go in and he'd be amongst many of his friends. But when I arrived, he's sitting all by himself, all alone. And,
Eating his lunch.
it was hard. Yeah. It was hard to see the aloneness of it. That was what was tough.
That's very isolating.
Well, I do remember in elementary school that I was playing games along with the other kids. But most of the time in the playground, I was practically adventuring outside. But I still have my limits. I have to stay with the school limits, school property. I don't want to get lost, I was trying to be a good student. I was reading, I was doing math, I was paying attention to the teacher, paying attention to their voice, just paying attention in general.
Aaron took to school like a fish to water. It was easy flowing.
I hardly ever see myself as a standout among the students. Yes, I was a standout because I never actually stood out in front of everyone else because I was just going to other classes other than other regular students. I was particularly focusing on what is good for me and the school.
School presented Aaron with a lot of opportunities, from simple math to creative literature, but the one he focused on most was art.
One masterpiece I've done is a face out of inorganic shapes. I used a wavy oval as a smile, I used 2 circles for eyes, I used a small trapezoid for a hat, and I used irregular shapes. I mean, it's nothing too garish or anything like that. It's colorful.
He became fascinated in art as it continues to grow even throughout his middle and high school years.
It allowed me to be more creative. It allowed me to think, allowed my brain to be more reactive and more energetic to stay focused on the task at hand.
It wasn't until Christmas morning he opened an account on an art website called Deviant Art, a website dedicated to artists everywhere.
A few other things I should mention is that I also artistic in writing. I wrote down a few ideas, wrote down a few stories. I admit my handwriting was a bit messy,
when I was younger.
However, art wasn't the only thing Aaron soon came to love. In fact, one important aspect of Aaron started while watching Wheel of Fortune.
I think Barney was really big back then, and by the time evening fell, I was done with all the Barney stories. So I turned on, I was looking for something more educational at night, and it was hard to find anything, so I would turn on Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, and he would start watching it. And that's how he learned his alphabet, because he could see when a contestant would call a letter, and if the letter was correct, then Vanna would turn the letter, so he would hear the name of the letter, and then he would see it, and he would put the two together, so he would learn that way. And so he was learning very, very early and reciting things very early. He knew, like I said, he knew the stories. He could sit in the back seat of the car and recite a whole story for you, forwards and backwards.
Yeah, you know when you go and you drive next to like the UDF, right, United Dairy Farmers, Aaron, at very, 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 very small, was looking at the windows and was actually telling you it's M-I-L-K. And we're kind of going, what? What are you doing? So yeah, that was kind of intriguing. It was surprising. Right.
With his remarkable new talent, Aaron sought out what he wanted to be, which was an actor. So he went to audition for plays, both in and out of school.
A few roles that I did while I was in drama is that I was a camper in a play called Camp Chaos, where the show is basically about a counselor who has been learned that a health inspector is coming up, but a ghost causes a ruckus across the summer camp, and it's up to the campers to find the treasure.
Not fair! The counselors go out having an adventure and we get to sit there doing nothing. It's just not fair!
Another role I did was outside of school was I performed in Godspell. I performed a man named Jeffrey, I believe. He was acting goofy, he was always smiling, he was always energetic. And a couple more a few things I did were The Wizard of Oz, which I performed 2 roles, an Emerald City Citizen and one of the Witch's Guards. Not exactly a very keen role, wouldn't you say? And I performed in Artificial Intelligence, where I performed a Texan millionaire who got knocked out cold thanks to a tuna sandwich. And I performed in Footloose, where I was both a good guy and a bad guy.
You got the picture on the TV? Will this be 5 teams without a picture? I don't know. Tell me the picture's name. Tomorrow. So you're not going to tell me today? I'm telling you, man. Then go ahead. Tomorrow. What time? What time? What time tomorrow? Tell me who's the patient. Now, listen. Who is not the patient? Who is not the patient? I'll break your heart if you say so first.
Due to lack of funding and tax levies, the drama department was soon, unfortunately, cut from the high school curriculum. But that didn't stop Aaron's passion for acting. He soon joined a group called Actors, Models, and Talent for Christ, or AMTC for short.
My AMTC audition was really exciting. I was standing in front of a huge line, and I kept reading a tagline for Nickelodeon. I said it with energy, and they said it was really good, and they said they'd call me back.
A few days later, Aaron received a call from AMTC and invited him out for a private interview.
After the call, I was really excited. I was like jumping up and down like an overexcited kid who just won the contest of being a superhero. But tragedy really struck when I came over there a few days ago. I went over there with my mother, and we were sitting there patiently. We were sitting around until the guys came up, and they asked me a couple of questions. They seemed really fine at first, but the one question that blew my mind away: can we change your hair? And the answer to that was no. And what they said I literally burst into waterfalls out of my eyes because they said, he's not ready. He's not ready to go into the real world to be a part of the acting business. I literally cried in there like a baby inside there. I was so upset. I never thought I would be able to, never be able to be a part of something big. Felt like my life was just ripped away from me, or at least a chunk of my life was at least bitten off of me. It bit off a part of me, and I could hardly swallow that piece of news.
Devastated, Aaron returned home and back to school. But that one moment wouldn't keep him away from his dreams, for his next steps in life are just beginning. After his dream in the spotlight dimmed, Aaron returned to high school, and all his hard work paid off, shining down a diploma. It wasn't until soon after that Aaron went on to learn more of the world through college.
Well, I went to Wilmington College first for a tour. It wasn't exactly perfect because there were no room and board, no place for me to stay. So I decided to go to Wright State University, and so I did. I went to a honors room, and that didn't go so well because I had a roommate, and roommates and I don't exactly mix well together at first. After my roommate problem, I was transferred to the woods, which was a bit more sentinel. It was more calming, it was more relaxing, and it allowed me to stay all by myself. It was great. But aside from living in life, the school life was a little bit too rough. I mean, I did English 102, which had me do research, and it was really, really excruciatingly hard. I had to do a research about wolves and education, but I never thought that I would at least do something stupid like that. I never thought that it might be something stupid like that.
Jolted from the English classes, Aaron's independence was short-lived, finding him back at square one. But this was no setback for Aaron. It was merely a chance for Aaron to return to college and chance to refocus.
I went back to psychology. I went to English, of course. I went to yoga. I performed yoga, and I also did a religion class at one point as Sinclair Blue Ash.
Still living at home, Aaron's passion for traveling the world grew. Always close to his heart, he eventually made a new friend from a foreign land, Thailand.
It all began on a website called innerpals.net. I was talking to a couple of new people across the world, and there was a picture of a beautiful girl with tan skin, black hair, and a cute smile. Her real name is Yoladi, but she prefers to call herself as Bo, and so the name stuck. We had been talking a little bit over the internet. We even shared Facebook accounts. We even shared our addresses, and we even sent snail mail to each other. We sent letters, we sent presents, we sent drawings, we sent our friendships. We sent our friendships together. It was really good. It was really good to communicate with a great friend, a new friend outside of the United States. I just felt like I really wanted to meet her in person. I just had to meet her in person.
It wasn't until 3 or 4 years later, Aaron and Bo were soon to meet in person. After a long wait, an embrace was inevitable.
Hi! Hi, how are you?
I was really nervous to meet Bo for the first time. I mean, I never actually came across a friend so accepting other than Bo. When she and I first met, we were particularly a little shy around each other, but we exchanged small talk. We sang a little bit together. We watched a movie together. She even made a portrait of myself in my own sketchbook, the one I still have in my collection. She is a very good artist. And we even had a little walk around the park, watching the sun, playing a few things on the playground, small stuff like that.
After a short week, Bo had to return home, but the connection between them stayed strong.
It was really hard to see her go back home. It was really hard to see her go back to her family. I mean, she even cooked meals for everyone else and the new members of the family she never met before, and they all accepted her as one of our own. We still exchange snail mail. We still exchange a few talks, a few private chats. We just love each other as friends, that's all. I mean, we talk about our situations, we talk about our problems, we talk about how to solve them. We are particularly strong friends right now.
Even though he was happy, Aaron wasn't satisfied until finding his niche in the economy.
The only job I have right now is that I am a really, really strict dishwasher in Burger King. It left my hands clammy, it left my thumb in a wrinkle, and it even almost got my hair got mixed up with the grease. And when cleaning the hoods up there, it wasn't exactly a picnic for me. Felt like I'm the only sensible guy in the work environment. I just needed to find a work environment that's sensible as I am.
Noticing how his talent was hidden away from the real world, his mother, Cheryl, reached out to a source of hope.
I listened to Warm 98 a lot, and so I heard Phil Brown on there because he was on there regular for a long time. And then I started hearing, probably, has it been 3 years, I guess, first time was when we went, heard a advertisement for the school and called to get some information, and Phil called back and he said, "This is Phil Brown from the Ohio Center for Broadcasting." And I said, "Well, yes it is," because I knew his voice.
I was first introduced to the Ohio Center for Broadcasting by my mother. She told me about a person named Phil Brown was working on my favorite radio station, Warm 98. She thought that it would be a perfect opportunity for me to find a real job with it.
He was just around, probably going on 19 then. No, he was already, about 19, early 20. And he wasn't quite sure if he wanted to do it, so waited. And then about almost 2 years passed when we looked in. I heard the advertisement again, and I said, "Hey, Aaron, maybe now."
At first I thought, no, I wouldn't be able to do that because I'm more likely into the stage business, not more likely into broadcasting.
"Let's check this back out again." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." I said, "Oh, come on, let's just check this out." I said, "You're really good with acting and stuff." So, and this time when we went, by then they had introduced the media, the online internet and portion of which was really the part that Aaron was most interested in. So we signed up and he didn't miss a day.
When I first came over there, I was really intrigued to see how it is. Never thought about actually being a part of a TV, but I thought it would be cool to at least be on TV. So I gave it a second chance.
Despite what Aaron first thought, he decided to give it a go, and it was thoughtful and more inspiring than he'd ever imagined.
The school allowed me to fully operate a camera for the studio. It allowed me to make new friends. It allowed me to be a really good person to see how much a good person can at least be broadcast throughout the entire world. I'm really happy that they've seen the creativity I have and really, really hoping that they would at least see me succeed.
Aaron, just his talent is amazing. His ability to focus singularly on something really gives him the ability to reach the vision that he's trying to find. That's something that not only is very useful to himself, but has been very useful to his class. Aaron was a joy to have in class. He's actually very funny, and I don't think people know his humor. He's made a couple of presentations at some student events that we've had. He's very funny. He's got a very good sense of humor, and we're going to miss him now that he's moved on.
I told him this before, he's going to make a lot of money. He's going to make a lot of money, yeah. great kid.
It was definitely an adventure. And he was a great classmate. He came in every day on time. He helped out a lot. And he had very, I don't know the exact word to put it, but great, adventurous, out there ideas. And it was a pleasure. It was real positive.
Just shy of 25 years, Aaron F. Davis continues to walk along his own path to a better and brighter future, not just for himself, but for the world.
Just like a vast encyclopedia library, there are a lot of chapters that have been written or yet to be written in my life story. My story is just beginning, and so is everyone else's. With so much to see, so many new friends to meet, so much to experience, I can't wait for it. Right now, I'm on my way to find and share someone else's story. It could be about how they are attached to their favorite hobbies, their future dreams, or even something fun not for them, but helpful for everyone. That's why I believe people with autism have a chance to show that we are nothing to ignore, nothing to cure, and nothing to be afraid of. We are human, just like everyone else. And who knows? There may be a light in the distance for autism, for me, and for everyone. I thank you for listening to my story, and thank you for helping me start my journey on the road from autism.
Oh, hello again, ladies and gentle viewers. I'm glad you enjoyed, or at least stuck around this entire video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now, as you can see from my share problem, I kind of figured out a solution to all this. I don't need to wear a shirt. All at least that matters is that I really need to make a good impression on people. Really need to listen to their story. Really need to accept them with a clean slate, a clean... Oh my gosh, look at the time! I'm gonna be late for dinner! Oh! But before I go, be sure to give a little click of the like button if you like this video. Share the share button, or at least share this video with all of your friends and family for everyone to enjoy. Or if you wanted to see some more videos along the road from autism, be sure to give a little click on the subscribe button below this screen. Until then, my door is always open, and for UTubeSponge Productions, I'm Aaron F. Davis, and I brung out. I'll see you next time.